It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Congrats, your business is doing great. All your hard work is paying off, but you need help like now, and you have to hire fast. How can you hire amazing candidates quickly? Easy, just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. And with sponsored jobs, your posts jump to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. One of the things I love most about Indeed is that it has one of the largest databases of job seekers, giving employers access to a wide range of candidates. And with job alerts, I get notified when new candidates apply. And with Indeed sponsored jobs, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. So how fast? Well, in the minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support a show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 277. You got this.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. Before he goes to bed, he asks himself, who have I served today? Pat Flynn.
Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Hiring shouldn't be a hassle or a drain on your budget. Upwork is your one-stop shop to find, hire, and pay top freelance talent, saving you time and keeping costs in check all in one place. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way that they staff key projects and initiatives by assessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, administration support, marketing, and more. And I've personally used them myself and can vouch for them. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Go there now. What up, everybody? Pat Flynn here. Thank you so much for joining me in this session of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Actually, this is a special session. This is actually a coaching call with a woman named Amy Torres, who had emailed me not too long ago saying that, she's 60 plus years old and that, she's been trying to do this thing for a while, blogging, creating an online product, that sort of thing. And she should just probably give up and claim her Social Security benefits. And, I wanted to come on and inspire her and coach her through a lot of what she was going through. But then through the conversation, I had this idea of, hey, maybe we can share this with others too, because I know there's other people out there who may be struggling or thinking similar things. And after the call, she said, hey, let's share this. So I'm so excited that she allowed all of us to hear this. So Amy, thank you so much for being you and for continuing to go through the process. And a lot of you will hear that she's actually already experiencing a little bit of success now through the validation process of her course and what she's up to, and you'll hear all about it now. And I just wanted to give you some inspiration and something a little bit different today. So here she is. This is Amy Torres on a coaching call with me, and I hope you enjoy. So tell me about where you're at, and I'm here to help you. So why don't you help me help you by kind of introducing yourself a little bit more to me and what you've been up to and kind of what you're struggling with.
Okay, because from the time that we first arranged this coaching call until now, a lot has happened.
Oh, okay. Good things, I hope.
Yeah, all good things. Yeah. Good. One thing that I just want to say, I've probably said it before, but in person, Pat, somehow I discovered you years ago. Maybe it was 2009, if that's possible, but definitely around 2011 or 12. Is that possible?
I think so. I was looking back in our email archive sort of conversations that we've had, and I saw emails from you come in all the way dating back to, where is it? Let me look you up here really quick. It goes all the way back to 2012. The first time you added me on Google Plus was December 1st, 2012. So I think maybe that's when you first found me.
Yeah, that sounds right, because I actually launched my first e-course in 2013 without knowing anything.
Okay.
But I was drawn to you, and I think that was through my intuition, which is pretty impeccable. And the course that I'm now putting the finishing touches on is called Tune Out Ego, Tune Intuition.
I like it.
Thank you. Because somewhere along the way, somebody said, notice what you take for granted in yourself, what's very obvious to you, and assume that is not obvious to everybody else. And so I've been having, well, first I just want to finish my thank you and say I've loved your work since the beginning. You were at that point where you were just starting to post your income and your earnings, and you were telling us about your own journey, and I found that so trustworthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, that I followed you ever since, even though I haven't checked in really until now.
Yeah, I mean, it just always makes me smile to hear how people have found me and then why they continue to follow me. So I appreciate that so much. Amy, thank you.
You're welcome. And I guess it really shows that it's great to let people stay on your list. Me too, because somebody who first signed up in 2014, who I really never heard from, signed up for my course, 3 years later. So
that's really cool. So, I mean, that's a very common thing. Sometimes it takes people months or even years to finally get to the point at which they're able to then transact with you. It might be for financial reasons. It might be just a mental block that they finally got over, or something happened in their life that you don't even know about that could have triggered it. So it's great that you're always continually, it seems like you're doing the right thing with building your list and keeping in contact with them and not essentially just weeding people out if they don't sort of interact with you.
Yeah. So I launched this course in 2013, decided that I wanted to try doing an online business without knowing anything, because I had moved from New York to Florida, gotten a great deal on a house, but there were no jobs. And I had a private practice as a Gestalt psychotherapist in New York City. And you have to be licensed in a new state. And I was interested in becoming free of all that and being an educator. I had, in the meantime, become an ordained minister, and so then I was a spiritual counselor, but different states have funny rules about using the word counselor. So I felt like I'd have a lot more freedom as an educator, and I had been teaching from a book called A Course in Miracles. Some people are very familiar with it. And my e-course in 2013 was supporting the workbook practice of A Course in Miracles.
Got it.
I made some Facebook pages devoted to A Course in Miracles, and I made one specifically for the workbook. And out of just posting organically about that, I got 40 signups my first year. No paid advertising, or very, very little, inconsequential. But in the following years, 2014, 15, and 16, maybe I got 10 people. And people would approach me for scholarships. And being a minister, I would give anybody a scholarship who needed it. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't earning me a living. I finally produced a book. I'd been dying to write a book, and I have a history as a writer, even an advertising copywriter, and then a journalist at Adweek magazine and other related industry magazines back in the 90s. So I finally came out with a book called Sweet Dreams of Awakening, 365 Goodnight Blessings. And it's a very beautiful book, but it's a book of blessings. And I feel that I have books in me to write. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I really am enthusiastic about is writing. And I also feel like a natural teacher. And something that's difficult for me is social media. I feel very warm and friendly towards people, but I'm definitely on the introvert side of things. I recharge in private. And when I try to build authority in Facebook groups, forget it. I'm just not feeling it. I get overloaded. And sort of in a leap of desperation and enthusiasm, in the fall of 2016, I signed up for a pricey class on e-courses, and then that led to a class on coaching, how coaching is the most direct route to getting clients and making money. Mm-hmm. And I felt that I really needed money at that point. But I couldn't really get with that coaching class. I was a little burnt out on coaching. And then I signed up for one on producing ebooks, and then I went on a binge of courses, sort of like courses were going to save me from actually having to do the work or something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So one thing that's really hard for me is overwhelmed with choices. And I'm noticing that I really learn by doing. So I'll jump in the middle and just start to do something. So I signed up for your Smart from Scratch course, and I got to lesson 5 or something. And then I just had enough. I really have had a hard time with research, and I've gone into, of course, Google and Google AdWords and Amazon, and that's where the buyers are, and Reddit and Quora. And finally I realized, I think what's best is just to see what my competitors are doing, who I also consider my colleagues. Mm-hmm. They already have the audience. They already have the proven product. Why can't I just lift the people that they're talking to and some of the key pain points that they're addressing and just put them in my own words? So that's what I started to do.
Okay, and tell me where you're at now. I mean, where's your head at? Are you still feeling overwhelmed, or are you getting any clarification or direction with kind of where you're going?
So I'm getting some clarification. Another thing that was really difficult for me, Pat, was reinventing myself. I felt that I was being asked by all my mentors, who are you? What do you have to offer? What are the results you can deliver? And who is your avatar? And that kind of threw me for a loop, because in my spiritual life, it had been about erasing my identity. So I was getting very clear of identity. And then this was all about identity. Right.
I mean, those are very common questions to ask when you get into marketing, right? Because you want to know who to target and who to talk to and how to talk to them. But I think before that, and the question I think, going back to reinventing yourself is the question I want to ask you is, what do you want? Before you start serving others, I think it's important to understand, and this is where the beginning stages of Smart from Scratch come into play, which is very much a look inward first before you look outward. Have you gone through those exercises, like the airport exercise and the history test, and were there any discoveries coming out of that?
I definitely did them, and I appreciated them. And I agree. It was all an inside job. And I also had done some reaching out to others, what do you see as my strengths and things like that. The thing was that my strengths seemed to be, I was empathic. I was a really good listener. I could hold a space for people to pour things out and then find their own inner wisdom. And these were things, it was hard for me to find the results of what I do. As I guess a psychotherapist and then a coach. So what I'm realizing is I help people be true to themselves. I really enjoy helping people finish their childhoods so they can enjoy their adulthood. In other words, form themselves as a person, gain the integrity that they can speak up and say what they need to say, assert themselves. And my people really tend to be codependent people. A hardcore term might be love addicts, caretakers. A lot of them are women, but not always. But what I really love, my passion, is this spiritual unfolding, discovering that what we are is beyond just the individual personal self.
Right.
But that may not be something I market.
That could be the result of a session with you or something else that you offer. That could be the outcome of it. But I think in terms of, what it is that you offer, we have to go back to that question a little bit of, who is it that you want to serve first? And I think, I feel like you might be somebody who is looking to try and help as many people as possible, right? Which we all want to do, right? We want to try and serve as many people as possible. But in order to do that, sometimes we have to really narrow down who it is that we're going to serve first. So if I had to challenge you to select a kind of market, and let's not even talk about market, let's just say where would you start with if you had your choice without worrying about how to market to them? If you could market to anybody, if you could find a certain kind of person to help in the way that how you can help them. And I love that you found what your kind of superpowers were based on what other people said and kind of aligning that with what you can do. That very much to me speaks like a coach. That's something that a coach can offer, and you can coach in anything, right? So going back to that question, if you had your choice without worrying about the marketing part of it, who would you choose to help?
Yeah, this is where I get very quiet.
Why do you feel like you're quiet? What is going through your brain right now when you kind of have to choose something?
I don't know how this sounds, Pat, but I don't care who I work with. I feel like I'm a magnet, and whoever comes into my sphere, I am there to help that person.
What kind of people do you feel are attracted to you?
Well, as I said, codependent people. If that's too broad a term, people who are not fully formed inside yet, people who really want to claim their life but are afraid to, people who take themselves for granted and don't even quite realize how much they take themselves for granted, and then people who want to awaken spiritually. So over the years, I built up an email list of 2,000.
Nice.
And I put out this intuition pilot idea to the whole list. Mm-hmm. And I allowed 23 people into my pilot, which I've been told is maybe a lot. Maybe I should have kept it to 12 or 15. But I felt like I needed more people. I needed to feel the enthusiasm and the energy of an audience to find out more about who my people are.
Totally.
And it turns out that I got 21 women and 2 men. And I feel energized having men in the group. I don't see myself as only teaching women, not at all. Even though women tend to, show up for these things, which is great. I love women, but I like having the male energy in the room. So, some women, they're very into the divine feminine and all of that. But that's not me.
And so this is a pilot program that you launched when?
Tomorrow is my first class.
Oh, so you just recently launched it. Tell me about, okay, how did you go about actually saying that this was going to happen? I'd love to get your idea, like just walk me through how you actually presented this and what you did to gather these people.
I first posted 3 choices on Facebook, as a mentor of mine suggested, Amy Porterfield. And she just said, you got to do it. It's, stop messing around, procrastinating. So I put up 3.
She got to you before I got to you, is what you're saying. Because I love Amy. Amy, as you know, is a good friend of mine. So I'm going to message. I didn't know that you guys had a relationship together. I'm going to message her immediately after this call and joke with her, because we're always like competing against each other, kind of in a friendly fashion. We're both working on, this live video studio right now. She's like, mine's going to be better than yours, and I'm like, no, mine's going to be better than yours. So she's gonna have a laugh that she had already given you some great advice since the last time we've sort of connected via email. So I'm glad to hear that. I want to go to that moment. She gave you that advice. What was your initial reaction when she gave you that advice to just do it?
Relieved. I was so relieved. And this was in group coaching calls, Pat. So I don't mean to, say that I'm a personal friend of Amy's, but I would say to her sometimes from one Amy to another, And I haven't showed up in her class for a while because I've been busy doing this. So, she gave us a time frame, and I would confess to her in a group coaching call, like, I'm 2 days away from the deadline and I'm not doing anything. And she basically said, like, go to Canva, write down 3 things, put it on your Facebook wall. And I did it.
What were those 3 things? Like
the 3 things were relationships, developing better boundaries with people. Uh-huh. The second thing was money. It's irresponsible not to be a millionaire. I was really talking to myself, but I thought it was a great line.
That is a good line.
Because there was so much upset about, who has the money. And I'm like, if you don't like who has the money, then in this day and age, you have an opportunity to get the money. So do you want a class on that? And the third one was tune out ego, tune intuition. Now, because I've been teaching A Course in Miracles for 15 years, most of my Facebook friends are spiritual people on spiritual paths. And so I got double the amount for the intuition course, but I also felt that I got enough interest in the other 2 that it was politically incorrect for them to admit, I want to be a millionaire, so I'll sign up for intuition. Sure. So
this was a single post you posted to your Facebook group that had basically 3 options, and you said, hey, like, how did you frame the fact that these things were coming out, and did you have a price point to that, or like, what was the call to action?
The call to action was, I'm thinking of making an e-course, help me decide what the topic should be, and then I'll let you know more about it. And I just got nice interaction from people on my page. And honestly, I don't usually have much interaction, so it did very well. And I would come back to it every day and always respond to everybody's comments.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So it's obvious that you spent a lot of time developing this community, getting, these people to know a little bit more about you, because if you just start a Facebook group and put a whole bunch of people in there and start asking them what course you would want to come out with, you're not going to get that many people to engage. So that's a great sign. You've done a lot of hard work already with building a community and whatnot. And then now you're finally sort of asking them to help you. And I think getting them involved in the process is really important. So, okay, you have an idea now. It's the Tune Out Ego, Tune Intuition, which is a cool name. And so you are 1 or 2 days from your first class. Before that, tell me about the transaction process, or like what happened after you got this sort of interest for this course.
Okay, so I could see what everybody else was doing with their email series, and then I signed up. So I was already enrolled in Joseph Michael's Easy Course Creation, and I love him. But I have to confess that I then signed up for CB Lab, which is Danny Eny, and he offers a lot of coaching, and coaching is what I need. So they have, office hours 5 days a week. And by going into those office hours and having face-to-face interaction like I'm having with you, I was getting step-by-step help, so I wasn't just like stuck in the class. And I just would take a series of emails and start to send them to my people. I'm opening this course, who's interested? And, Pat, I first made a 2-minute video, a really cute video, told them a little about it, and scooped up both my kitty cats and said, these guys have perfect intuition, and just made it a little personal.
Yeah,
and
fun. And that's you, right?
Yeah, Yeah, and it felt so relieving, to not have to be totally professional. And then I love Amy Porterfield's idea about offer a free live webinar and then follow it up. So she kind of said, if I'm getting this right, pitch your webinar for a week before and then keep the card open for 2 weeks after. And that's exactly what I did. I got people into the live webinar. 100 people on my list expressed interest.
Okay.
I think 20 people showed up for the live webinar. And by the end of the 2 weeks, I have 23 people enrolled in the pilot.
Because people saw the replay and you kind of posted about it on Facebook.
Yep, and I kept checking in with emails, and then I started letting them know gently, there's only this many spots left. It's only going to be available for a few more days. It's a spiritual community, and I don't feel right like giving them the timer with the countdown, but I see other people doing that in my community. It just feels like I want a little bit more of a soft touch.
Sure, and I think that's totally fine. I mean, you can always adopt strategies or not adopt strategies based on who you are and what kind of person you want to be. And my question is, when you had gone through this sort of validation process with your audience, was there any pushback from people? Were there anybody in your audience that was saying anything like, why are you coming out with this course? What's the deal here? Why are you going down this direction?
No pushback.
If you had gotten pushback, how do you think that would have affected what you have done? I'd have to know what the pushback was, but it felt very organic to me. Like, oh yeah, the Course in Miracles is using Christian terminology. It's saying Holy Spirit, but intuition is actually the same as Holy Spirit. It's just that it feels very natural and like it comes from within. And the Holy Spirit feels sort of lofty, like it's low up there in the sky and you can never reach it. Mm-hmm. So as I started warming to my own subject, which I wasn't even sure about in the beginning, I didn't even quite know why I blurted it out, it started to feel more and more real to me. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's obviously made a connection. So now you have these 23 people, 21 women, 2 men. You have your first class. What is this class going to be like? Tell me about the structure of it.
Yeah, so tomorrow night it's going to be a Zoom meeting. Perfect. And it's going to be live. And I'm thinking that I'm going to give them 10 minutes of information. So I've divided the class into 3 parts. Okay. Class 1 is Tune Out Ego. Class 2 is Change the Channel. And Class 3 is Tune into Your Intuition. And so the first class, I'm going to give them some methods to directly experience tuning out ego during the class, maybe 10-minute lumps. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to ask for interaction. How did that go for you? Where are you at? And then delve into the next one. So I thought 90 minutes would be enough for that. I'm very interested to see how many people turn up for it.
Yeah, you always get a smaller percentage of people turning up. I mean, you know this being in my course. I mean, there are hundreds of people in it, and maybe 100, if that, show up to the live calls. And, over time it sort of dwindles down. And so there's going to be some challenges related to that, because obviously you want people to come on and be there live with you to interact. So, you'll find different ways to be able to manage that. Are you doing anything outside of the office hours or the class, live webinars to kind of encourage interaction and things like that?
Well, I was thinking week to week, I will then build the class. Based on how the class went, I'll use that as a group coaching call in the class, but I'll also, offer a video and a slide deck and some of the things we spoke about. And then I'd like to meet with each of them one-on-one for about 15 minutes to delve deeper and start to see if there are themes that really support me turning this into a more full-blown class.
What would it take for you to do that?
That's what I'm wondering, because Pat, I have an experience of having successfully launched a class and being respected as an expert in my field, but it never scaled. And now I'm getting a little, nervous thinking, so I'm going to have a successful pilot, but then what if this doesn't scale either? And I feel a little lost at that point. And also, a little concerned that I jump in and do things. The other thing I'm doing right now is writing on Medium. really enjoying that way of blogging because there's such a large audience there. And yet, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot by doing too many things.
Right. I mean, it is obvious to me that is an issue. And that's not a unique thing to you. That's all of us out there, right? We all have a lot of things that we want to do, and we kind of get pulled in all these different directions. A lot of people I know who could potentially listen to this would relate and are probably buying the same amount of courses. And I think being conscious of the fact that that's not necessarily the right thing to do could just help you, and instead focus on the next task. And so for now, your next task is to focus on these students, make it an amazing experience for them, which I know you can do. Listen to them, which you said you're a great listener. So they're going to help you create this thing so it's great. And you've already proven the concept. So this is something people want. So there's no questioning that anymore. When you get to the point at which, your students go through the course, then the challenge becomes, like you said, okay, how do I scale this thing? But always keep in the back of your mind, because I know it can be difficult, especially when you go through another launch and maybe it doesn't go as well, or you're just searching for new exposure, whatever. Always remember that this course is helpful and that it's your responsibility now. I mean, that's how I consider these things. If I have a cure for disease, what would it be if I just didn't put in the effort to try and figure out how to get that into people's hands who had that disease, right? And that's how I want you to approach this, so that when you are met with these challenges, you know that in the back of your mind, you just have to keep going, right? And that it's not the product, it's just the way that you are looking to scale it. And if a particular method doesn't work out, well, then scratch that one off the list and try another one. But it's going to be even better now, because you'll have these amazing testimonials. You'll have the energy coming from the success of these students. I feel like you will make the right decisions and not get too involved with, and this is the big worry here, is that, okay, it's time to market this thing. I'm going to buy this marketing course. I'm going to buy this traffic course. I'm going to buy this ads course. Here's the secret. Pick one method that could potentially work, and just focus all your effort on that until you get to the point where you've given it a chance. And that's where a lot of people, I'm not saying you, but myself included, everybody, we always try these things and we don't even give them a chance to do what really they each can do, because we're dividing our energy everywhere. So I'm so encouraged by the start that you've given yourself. And I would just encourage you to continue to focus on that next task. It's like when I started my online journey, I knew I had to sell an ebook to help people pass an architecture exam, right? But there's so many pieces to that. There's, how do I find the people? What tools do I use to sell this thing? Like, how do I do that? How do I collect payments or, shopping carts? This, all this stuff. But I knew that none of that mattered until I finished the book. So that's all I focused on. And then so any learning that you do should only be about that next thing that you're working on. So marketing, yeah, that's going to be a challenge, but don't even worry about that right now. I wouldn't have that get in the way of you serving your students. And I feel like your students are going to be so important to you. And this is why a pilot program is so perfect, because those students become not just your first set of students and your first customers, which is really important, right? But they become the people who will tell you exactly how to market it later, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean them sharing it with their friends. I mean, they will tell you why they bought it, and that will influence how you market it, right? Versus us trying to have to guess now, which is what you have to kind of do when you're doing the pilot, right? You kind of have to guess why people would want it and talk about those points. But here you are, you have students who will tell you why they bought it, what they love about it, and then that's going to influence how you market it. And I think that'll help you scale along the way too. So just a lot, it's a lot more mindset stuff more than anything, as you know. But I'm just so proud of you, actually, because I remember our email exchange together. You had said that you were kind of lost and didn't know where to go. And I'm so thankful that Amy got a hold of you and told you kind of just do it, put it out there. What's the worst that can happen, right? And you're making progress. And I just want to encourage you to keep going. And I'm here for you. And if there's anything I can do right now, and any questions that you might want to run by me, I'm here for you. But I just wanted to kind of get all that out and into your head as you progress, because this is really, really cool. I'm super encouraged by this, and I hope you are too.
It really, really helps to have successful entrepreneurs who have been through it, like you to actually say to me that I'm doing a good job and stick with it. And it's happening because I had that lag between 2013 and now where it was kind of like inching along, but not really taking off. And so, but I never took marketing as seriously as I do now.
Yeah.
And coaching helps so much. Knowing people helps so much. And then knowing that you're on the Teachable platform, and CB Lab got me on the Teachable platform as a perk of that program, and that takes some of the figuring things out of it. So when you say stick with one method, do you mean, for instance, will it fly? Like just stick with that and pick it back up after I get through my pilot to pick up at the next step?
I mean, honestly, Will It Fly? You are beyond what Will It Fly does. You have validated the course. You have launched it. You have customers. That's what Will It Fly will teach you to do. So don't even worry about Will It Fly anymore. What I mean by pick one and go with it is, okay, pick a marketing strategy to scale this and focus on that. Whether maybe it's Instagram, or maybe it's Facebook, and you just continue working Facebook, not even using any brain space for anything else but growing your Facebook page, which already has proven itself to work for you. So that's actually where I would start. But then you could utilize something like maybe paid Facebook ads and just focus on that and then learn all about that. And that's the only thing you're going to allow yourself to learn about until you get to the point at which you can make a decision based on numbers and based on experience that, yes, this is going to work for me. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to invest in it. Or nope, I've tried it. I've given it the real chance it can have. It's not going to work. I'm going to move on to the next one. It's when you start going, okay, I'm going to do Facebook ads, and I'm going to do Instagram 3 times a day, and then I'm going to do Twitter 5 times a day, and I'm also going to do a live streaming show 1 time a week, and then I'm going to do podcasting on top of that. That energy spread out across all those things is going to give you nothing. But all that energy into one can give it, whatever it might be, at least a chance. And then you can make real decisions from there versus, what most people do is they spread themselves thin and they say, oh, well, podcasting, I tried it, it's not going to work. So this, I tried that, it's not going to work. Well, it's not working because you're not putting all your energy into it. So that's hopefully going to give you a little bit of guidance in terms of what happens next. But
yes, it does. And so if I focus on Facebook and I continue to speak with them about intuition and approaching spirituality, and I'm kind of pivoting so that I'm not just A Course in Miracles anymore,
right,
but broadening it into other things, which they're totally open to. And I did experiment with Facebook Live a couple of times. Am I doing that on my personal page, Pat, or am I doing that on my public figure page?
So you have a public figure sort of business page, you say?
I do, which I don't use very much, but I've heard that I should.
I mean, you can. There's a lot of sort of this or that kind of thing. If you have a personal page and you are okay sharing and putting this information out about what you do on that page, then I would use your personal page, similar to what Amy Porterfield does, right? However, I also know that she has a page, which she built up over time, and she uses that mainly for, I feel, which is what I'm mainly using it for, is for advertising, knowing who has said they've already liked your stuff, right? But I would just focus, if you're okay with your personal brand and this being a part of that, then that's where I would focus, and that's where I would do the live streams. That's where I would build your audience and get to know people. What I would really do is again, going back to your initial set of customers, is really ask them at some point, maybe not right away, but maybe after you've worked with them, is to ask them literally, why did you buy this? And why did you buy it from me? And they're going to tell you, like I said earlier, exactly why that's the case. And it might be because of a specific problem they've had, and you can always dig deeper. And so when you have these 15-minute conversations with them, I would definitely save and reserve 1 or 2 minutes at least to ask this question and dig deep into that. And you might find that people bought from you because of the value you provided on Facebook. I mean, maybe that's what they say, and they just can feel like they've trusted you and learned how to get to know you, which then tells you what you should continue to do, right?
I actually asked that question in the welcome email. After they signed up, I welcomed them and I said, can you tell me briefly what motivated you to buy this class and what you hope to get out of it?
Love it. What did they say?
About half of them wanted to, stop the relentless chatter of the ego. The other half was more into, feeling uplifted into following their inner guidance. And a whole bunch of them said, Amy, we love you. We would buy anything that you teach. We just like you as a teacher.
I love that. Okay. So that's great. I would follow up with those who had said something about that wasn't about you, but something about a problem they had. And I would follow up with them and ask, well, why did you feel compelled to buy this from me when I offered it? And that will give you an insight on, okay, yes, they have this issue and they need help with it, and they, you can provide that solution. But it's going to give you some insight on why you and what you should continue to do. And maybe it's something that's going to turn out to be very similar to what those other people said about you and just the way that you teach, in which case, then it's like, okay, how do I scale up this process of building these kinds of relationships? And Facebook, it seems to be a primary one for you, and using live stream on top of that could be another way to sort of enhance that even more. Because when you're doing any sort of coaching, Shalene Johnson told me this. She said that, live streaming is amazing, especially if you're getting clients for coaching, because essentially what you're doing is you're giving people exactly what they're going to get when they get you as a coach, right? And you're just doing it on a scalable level live, and it's the real you. And people want to know who they're going to work with before they work with them, right? And live videos are great for that. So, you can experiment with that. That is a Facebook thing that could potentially play a role into sort of future launches. But again, I wouldn't even worry about that right now. The number one thing is treating your students like gold and understanding why they came to you for the solution, but also just making sure that the course is great, so that when you come out of it, after the students have gone through, you're going to be so confident in what you have to offer that you're going to be so driven to figure out the right marketing method for it. I think it's when people aren't very confident about the product that they then kind of try to find as many people as they can in all the different spaces to try and get, people in there. And it's only when that confidence comes into play that can you really put in all the energy that you have behind it.
Well, what I'm taking away, many things that you've given me, but one is, for me, no is the new yes. I have to say no to a whole bunch of stuff so that I can give a full yes to just really developing the course. I love my peeps. I like keeping things smaller. So I've told them, I like doing a more intimate class. I like getting to know you. And the other thing is, I just want to tell marketers out there that bonuses set me up for failure.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that?
And I think when I offer my classes, maybe I'll give them extras, but not bonuses, because bonuses to me are seductive, but in the end, it's too much information. And instead of allowing me to just focus on the course that you gave me, now I'm tempted by all these extras. It's too much information. It actually prevents me from just keeping my eye on the course and just following through with those modules and completing the course. And it also sends me a message that this course isn't enough. I'm going to slam you with value. I have to give you more, because this course is not enough. And I'm like, guys, I don't need more. There's too much as it is.
So this is a message from a student of several courses who has gone through, several, and has gotten experience across all different kinds, basically saying, hey, the bonuses are not actually helping as much as you might think they are.
Yeah.
And, could actually stunt the growth of your students.
Speaking for myself, I have to say, yeah, that's what I've discovered. And feeling pressured as an entrepreneur to provide bonuses before I have them, I realized, but wait a minute, I don't even think bonuses are such a great thing. So I'm just throwing that in.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that's why in my courses, when I launch them, I don't offer bonuses beyond access to me, which, is going to go along with the course. I think if you do offer bonuses, they should absolutely be relevant in a way that enhances the course, not kind of takes people away from it. I've gotten courses where the bonuses actually make complete sense, and I'm very thankful they're there because they enhance my experience with the course, such as a quick start guide on how to use something or whatever. But I've also been pitched courses where it's like, hey, not only can you get this course, but you can get my other course that was launched last year and the course before that and all these videos that were from this presentation. And it's like, okay, I got a lot to cover now. And I'm very thankful that you mentioned that, because I think that is a very wise message to share with the people out there who are also like you creating courses now and, in that same level. So, Amy, this has been an amazing and inspirational conversation. I had no idea where it was going to go, and you've already done a lot of the great work that I had expected to help you do already. So this is fantastic. I really look forward to following up with you and learning more about where this takes you.
Thank you so much, Pat. And the coaching part that you offer, that kind of bonus builds in accountability, and it makes it even more likely that I'll finish the course and succeed. So thanks so much for getting, one-on-one in person with me. And now I feel even more accountable.
I'm going to hold you accountable to everything we talked about. And, again, feel free to reach back out to me. I want to make sure that everything goes well for you.
Will do.
Thanks, Amy. All right. That was really fun. And again, Amy, thank you so much for allowing all of us to listen in on this. I know that's not always easy to do, but I think we can all agree that you got some great things going on. And for people out there who want to learn more about Amy and what she's up to, you can actually find her website at Amy Torres, ACIM.com. That's Amy, Torres, ACIM.com. She also has a book on Amazon, like she mentioned, Sweet Dreams of Awakening, 365 Goodnight Blessings, and we'll link to that in the show notes as well. And of course, if you want to head on over to the blog and leave a comment and pick up the show notes or read the transcript, share it, all you have to do is head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/session 277. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/session 277. And then finally, I want to address a question that might be on your mind, which is, how do I get selected to be one of your students and have this sort of open public forum or have the coaching call be shared? Well, to tell you the truth, there's no sort of system to make that happen. Amy, I actually went back into the archives of my email. She's actually been following SPI since 2013. That was the first time we had email correspondence together. And she was also a student of my course. And so I got to know her and what she was up to very well. And of course, through that relationship, I wanted to do this. So it's not a thing that you can like sign up for. And honestly, if you want to get access to me, there's a few ways to do it in order for me to help you and answer your questions. You could go to askpat.com and you can be a part of that show. You can ask questions there and potentially get your question featured, which I feature a question from you and my answer 5 days a week. And then also Ask Pat Live, which is a live Q&A session. I can get through about 20 questions in about an hour and help you out there live on my Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com/smartpassiveincome, that happens live every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, and that's for an hour. So check that out. Again, facebook.com/smartpassiveincome. And I make sure to give a lot of attention to the students of my courses. So I have a number of courses. You can find Smart from Scratch if you're just starting out. That's the course that Amy went through to help her validate her idea. Again, smartfromscratch.com. The enrollment period actually just ended, but you can sign up for the waitlist right now if you go to smartfromscratch.com. And there's also Power Up Podcasting at poweruppodcasting.com. We just finished that launch as well in July, and it's going very well with the brand new students in there. And I walk people through the exact step-by-step sequence of how to set up your podcast, but not just how to set it up too, because there's a lot of content out there that can help you set it up, but also how to market it, how to automate it, how to scale it, how to build your email list from your podcast, how to monetize your podcast, everything that you need to know that's going to help you keep it going for the long term. I have 7+ years of podcasting experience. I've won multiple awards, and I want to make sure that you can get that message that you want heard to be heard. So if you want to check that out, sign up for the waitlist for that one at poweruppodcasting.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode. Until then, keep on keeping on. Love you guys. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
More people dream about building their own business and being their own boss rather than retiring early. but a majority of them never even take the first steps to register the business. Why? Because starting a business can feel overwhelming. With legal forms, paperwork, finances, it's a lot. And that's where Taylor Brands comes in. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal and business assets separate from day one. And from there, you can get access to everything you need to get off the ground, from legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, our listeners get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. Just head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands. Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? Record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio quality audio and high resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART.